Now, given that Disney and Lucasfilm are really doing a lot of varying things with the Star Wars franchise, ranging from the Star Wars TV shows, to the movies, to the books, the novels, the comics, and the video games, that's really going to all come together to serve as this brand new universe that's being led by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas helping out, as well as Tony Gilroy getting a lot of other projects beyond Andor Season 2. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, one thing that a lot of fans do cherish is the character of Anakin Skywalker. We will be going over exactly what Lucasfilm is crafting behind the scenes right now for a specific Star Wars project, and how it is going to change Anakin in ways that fans would never have even imagined. Now, we know that there are many iterations of Anakin. We have Anakin in Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, as well as, of course, in The Phantom Menace. We also have him as a Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi, and let's not forget about the animated material, those iterations as well. But there's one thing that Lucasfilm wants to fulfill for the fandom, and that has a lot to do with what they are crafting right now for the Obi-Wan Kenobi soft reboot. Let's get right into this. Now, one thing that is very much revealing about their attempts to really change Anakin is that with Lucasfilm preparing to make major changes to the Star Wars franchise through many of the upcoming shows and movies, creators Jon and Dave Filoni are getting ready to do something substantial for the soft reboot of the Kenobi series that is set to completely change Anakin Skywalker as a character by delivering something fans have never seen before. This dates back to the original writer of the Kenobi trilogy that never turned out to be, Stuart Beattie, and his overall story. Storyboards that have been created by Jon and Dave are said to hold a strategy to recast Anakin Skywalker with a brand new actor to portray a teen version of Anakin around the age of 13 years old. This was an original idea by Stuart Beattie that never came out to be. The reason why this is labeled as a recast is that Hayden Christensen was supposed to portray a 13-year-old version of Anakin through ILM's advanced de-aging technology with voice synthesizer technology that would actually youthify, quote-unquote, his voice. Now, the plan is to showcase a 13-year-old Anakin in the form of a flashback, where Obi-Wan Kenobi is on a mission with young Skywalker on a strange world where they appear to be dueling in a sparring session on ice. Now, let me just pause here quick, because what's really revealing about this is that this was an original idea by Stuart Beattie. Now, for those of you that do not know who Stuart Beattie is, he was the original writer for the Kenobi series and the Kenobi trilogy that never happened before Joby Harold. Now, Joby Harold is the writer of The Kenobi Show that exists today. Alright, he's the guy that wrote everything. But before him, they were actually making a Kenobi trilogy. Believe it or not, Ewan McGregor confirmed this. It was going to be a thing, and it eventually dwindled down to one movie. Then it got downgraded to a Star Wars show on Disney+. So that's why, Ewan McGregor was lying for multiple years that he was not involved as Kenobi. He literally had to lie. And he hated doing that. He really did. But Lucasfilm and Disney forced him to do that. So they're basically, Jon and Dave are taking Stuart Beattie's ideas, which is fantastic, by including a 13-year-old version of Anakin. Now, they are calling this, or treating this as a recast, like I said before, because Hayden was supposed to take part in ILM's advanced de-aging tech that is not necessarily flawless just yet, or complete just yet, so they really have to fine-tune it. But before they do that, now they just want to recast because it's less expensive, it's easier to do, and it's not going to be, complete for the next couple of years. ILM's tech, by the way. This new voice synthesizer technology, like I said before, it's going to quote-unquote youthify, specific actors' voices to sounding like they're 13 or, 20 years old, and stuff around those lines on a flawless way. There is stuff that exists like that, but it's not perfected just yet. So, on top of this, what makes this even all the more engaging is exactly what comes after this, is that, well, this is said to be near similar, visually speaking, to the Batman Begins training session between Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul. Lucasfilm, along with John and Dave, already have 3 young actors in mind to portray a 13-year-old Anakin that is going to be a completely different version of Skywalker, who here is said to be a fusion between Anakin from Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace by Jake Lloyd. The actors that Lucasfilm is actually taking a part in mind are said to be complete unknowns that are considered newcomers that have not starred in anything significant just yet. Now, John and Dave are fully aware that this is something that they need to be very careful with, and any mistake portraying a 13-year-old version of Anakin could rub the fans the wrong way. The flashback is planned to run around 10 minutes long in length for the Kenobi soft reboot, and is said to be a very important story, of course, to Anakin's past that will uncover new secrets. Now, about the Kenobi soft reboot, we've talked about this lightly before in the past. It is going to be treated as a second season to the Kenobi series, but not necessarily picking up where it left off. It's going to basically acknowledge that it does serve as a sequel, but they won't be making it very obvious that it's going to act like a sequel. That's kind of like what a soft reboot acts like. Basically, what's going to happen is it's going to be treated as a sequel, but they're going to ignore the events that happened in the Kenobi series that we got by Joby Harold. So they want to give it a brand new title. It's not going to be called Kenobi Season 2. It could be something as simple as, for example, like Kenobi, a Jedi's Return, like the BTS thing or something like that. So this is really interesting. The fact that we will be getting a new iteration of Anakin that we have never seen before, that's not going to be portrayed by Hayden Christensen, but a different actor for the first time since 1999, I think is going to be very, very revealing. Now, the thing about this is that you have to be careful, right? And John and Dave know about this. To have a complete new actor portraying Anakin Skywalker, you have to do this very, very well. You guys may or may not know this, but George Lucas originally wanted Leonardo DiCaprio for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith because he felt he really mimicked Jake Lloyd as a young adult. That's basically why he wanted him on board, but Leonardo didn't really want the role. It was a whole thing. George almost got him on board. But this new, approach, the fact that Lucasfilm is looking at 3 unknown actors, we're not quite sure just yet who they really are, but they are reportedly have not starred in anything major, so we wouldn't really know them from anything. These are up-and-coming actors that may very well have just came out of, acting classes for all we know. They want to get somebody that's brand new, somebody that's not a familiar face, just so they can play things safe, alright? And they kind of did that with, for example, young Luke in the Kenobi series, right? We didn't really know who that actor was, where he came from, this child actor, brand new actor, by the way. And it's interesting that this is their overall approach to give us a new iteration of Anakin. So again, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.